Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? This is a very special episode to me of Foreign Insight. This is an episode today that I've been trying to have this type of conversation for years, actually, even on Facebook or Instagram live, and people just scared to have the conversation. But before I get to my special guest, I'm your host, Des Maddox.
Tinka.
Now we get into the special guest. Give a shout out to my sis, Kylie. Go ahead.
Woo! Hey everyone, my name is Kylie. I am a transgender female who was born and raised in Jamaica.
Hey.
I'm a runway model. Basically, yeah, that's it. I'm just here to get into the tea today of what a transgender is and the whole conversation around transgender. So let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. Yes. First question I want to ask you is, who is a transgender?
Okay, so basically a transgender is someone who was born with a specific gender but doesn't identify as that gender. For example, myself, I was born at birth, I was assigned male, but growing up I realized that, okay, I have female tendencies. I was very flamboyant growing up and all of that. I always dressed up in my mom, my cousins' clothing, hair, stuff like that. I realized I have a love for hair, all that. So I try to fight it growing up, especially in my teenage years, going to school in Jamaica, growing up in Jamaica. Although everyone knew I was gay back home at that time, moved here, I started doing modeling. I tried to hide it at that time. I used to do it mostly at nights, like when I'm going to parties and stuff like that. But otherwise from that, the next day I have a different life, so nobody knows about it. Until quarantine, I decided that, listen, I just gotta live my life because I realized life is short, especially when it was in lockdown and stuff like that. So I contacted my doctor. I started taking hormones, all of that stuff, and then I just started transitioning. So it's more like I was born a male, but transitioning into a female. So basically, that's who a transgender is. You can also have transgenders who was born a female and transition into becoming a male. So yeah,
I like that answer because a lot of people confuses what a transgender is, and to me, I'm not even transgender myself, but I found that, all right, growing up, it always been a struggle for gay men to live in the black community, to be honest, right? It's always been hard, and people keep lying, say it ain't hard. Gay men used to get beat up and jumped all the time.
I agree.
And a lot of black community people would teach the hate towards gay people.
Yes.
And I'm like, yo, even me, I ain't gonna lie, people teach me to hate for gay people, but in my heart, I really didn't feel that way. And to this day, I wish I could kind of rewind myself and erase that part of just saying like the harmful, hateful stuff, because it's not right. It's just not right at all. But my thing is, when I see men who transition into trans women, and then a lot of people make a mockery of it by saying it's a bunch of genders out there. I'm like, stop. To me, you're making a mockery for what these trans people have fought for. Because it's not something as 100 genders. They don't make sense to me. Animals is the gender. No. For people like you who are brave to literally do the transition into an actual trans female, I feel like it's rude to people to start saying I could be a rabbit and try to put them in the same category as you. That's insane to me. I don't like that. What's your thought on that?
I agree too.
I definitely agree. Like growing up, I grew up gay. I always liked the girls. I was always, sometimes I was teased about it. I had my mama gonna kill me one time. She was like, you out here eating coochie. Don't you drink from none of my cups. Don't beat me, mama. But I have a couple of friends that's transgender also.
Yes.
And I seen the struggle that they went to. I went to school with a boy named Joel. He transitioned. His name is Julia now.
Mm-hmm. Julia?
Her name is Julia.
Okay.
Her name is Julia now. And I seen her constantly had to fight, like in the streets, like fighting grown men. Because they saying something, because they are always on defense mode at a time because, you know, you're scared for one. You see yourself as a woman for one, and that other person don't understand, and the lack of information that's out there to be spread, like, hey, this can occur. Like, people are obligated to feel this way. People are obligated to transition if they wanted to transition, and people are just assholes. I didn't see my friend like bust grown men in the head with Hennessy bottles and
me too. I've seen it. I've seen it
because they fucking with her.
I don't understand, like, what makes you eat don't make me shit. I don't understand why people were saying,
and why would you?
Why you beat somebody else because their life decisions? I mean, that's their life to make that decision, right? True. I always felt that way, and it was kind of insane to me that even before you even transition into a female, you went missing for a while. Because if y'all don't know, she actually before she transitioned used to model, and she also modeled for me before in foreign labor. But before I even got in touch with her, I'm gonna say her now, because it's kind of hard to try to keep it in place. But when she was a he, no disrespect, but at the time, like, he one of the flyest people I've known. I'm like, yo, this person flies. Yo, I DM'd him like, listen, can you model for me? Like, literally, like, and when he came, you just crushed the shoot. I'm like, nah, like, you got it. But then when you went missing, I know. But when you came on my page, and you're like, you recognize, you probably know who I am. I'm like, hold on, I the tattoos were gave it. The tattoos is what gave tattoo. Me I said, oh, so we had a whole phone conversation about that, whatever, for like almost like an hour and change. And I'm like, yo, listen, man. He was like, listen, I'll come on your podcast. I mean, you know what? All right, cool, bring it. And we're here, man. Once again,
no problem. I can respect. No problem. That's give fine. All the respect to you. There's just some people that's out there just scared.
Yes, and a lot of people is scared to tell their truth, and I find it where it is best for you to educate people, especially people in your circle. It's best for you to educate them and let them know, let them be aware about our everyday life, things that we go through. Because being a transgender, it's not easy.
I have a friend that
on a regular day, it's not easy walking down the street holding your head. You know,
I was going to ask you that question too.
You might face just walking down the street.
I was going to ask you. Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I have a friend that committed suicide because of that. At the time, they was like making fun of her on the internet. They was like, they either jumped her one time. They had it on social media. Ripped off all her stuff, and then a couple of weeks later, she decided she wanted to take her life.
And then and then the thing is, once we start transition, we start going on hormones. These hormones, they really put us in a, because remember, it's breaking down your male hormones and giving you more female hormones. So when you take the hormones, you become moody, you became emotional, all of that stuff. So for you to be getting harassed, bullied, all of that stuff, it breaks you down. And not everyone can manage it.
So the question, it's also good to have a supportive system. Like, either if it's friends, sometimes your family can't always be helpful.
Sometimes the family's not there. So a lot of people, like, all right, not even in the trans community, in the gay community itself, if you realize they will build their own family.
And I love that about...
They build their own family.
I didn't know that.
And the reason being because gay people are cast out of their own house.
So when you say family, like mama, daddy, brother,
you
aunt?
have mom, dad, uncles, cousins, everybody. Like a regular family. Some families more like a family, where the mom will play the mom role in the family, the dad will play the dad role and everything. But some, they just call it, that's my mom, that's my dad, and they don't do nothing for them. But some, they will.
Yeah.
And it's because for
years,
it's a safe space, and for years, you have, say you come out to your family, or your family finds out that you're gay or trans or whatever it is. They will cast you out of the house, you got to live on the street. So they form a bond where they meet other gay people and they become family, where they feel more comfortable, more safe around each other. So yeah.
Because I know like not a lot of Jamaicans only they don't play that body man, and I'm like, listen, man.
Some of them be hitting.
I don't understand why is it's the hate. I'm like, listen, I don't hate no one. I don't understand what the hate. So now, question I want to ask for you. Another question I want to ask you, right? So tell us a little bit about some of the struggles you had transitioning.
So with my transition, it wasn't that terrible like other people because my family knew I was gay before I even started transitioning. And I always say to myself, once my mom knows that I'm gay, I don't care about the world. I don't care about nobody else. Like I really don't. I don't care about my father. I don't care about nobody.
When was your mother?
It's just my mom. And
that's
I can
exactly
remember
how I felt when I told my grandmother I was gay, and she said, "You know what? It's fine." It was fuck everybody else. It was like, once I got that rock saying,
and I'm
it's
gonna
okay.
tell you, when I was living in Jamaica at the time, when I told my mom, I texted her. I said, "Listen, I'm gay," and she was mad. She said, I give birth to Kirk, not Kimberly. That was her exact word. And we didn't spoke for 2 weeks. And then one day I just heard my phone rang and it was her. And from that day until today, she has been one of my support system where I've kept birthday parties, which is gay parties in Jamaica. She was there. Mm-hmm. She know everyone that I talk to. She knows every one of my friends. She's been around them. She never shown them any bad face or anything. My mom is really one of the best mom to have in a time like this.
That's what's up.
And when I moved here, I didn't know I was coming to America to live when I moved here in 2015. I just came for vacation and then I decided not to go back. And when I started transitioning during COVID, and I sent her the picture because I started to regroup myself, rebrand myself, like make a new Instagram, make a new Facebook, make a new everything.
You could use missing. That's what I'm saying.
I still have my Facebook and I still got my Instagram as a boy, but I took down all the pictures and everything. But I sent her the picture and her exact word was, wow, you remind me of when I was young. I was like, okay, girl, I got it.
You got it.
And we talk about a lot of stuff. Like me and my mom, we really talk about a lot of stuff. We might not talk every day and everything, but we do talk about a lot of stuff. And every time I go out and I take a picture or make a video, I send it to her. Oh. And I just try to keep the bond because I know a lot of transgenders or gay people would love to have a bond like that with their parents. And I know it's very hard just being even a trans and your parents really accept you and open their arms just for you. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy. Shout out to her mom.
Shout out to
That's
Marley.
a fact.
We love you.
All right, now, here's the part that I be having an issue with. Mm-hmm. These damn pronouns. That's the thing I be having an issue
really
with.
not that hard, man.
It's not that hard.
No, all right, I'm going to tell you what I have an issue with. No, I'm going to tell you why, right? First of all, before I get into that, what are pronouns?
Okay, so there are different types of pronouns. So you have people that label themselves as different things. Like me, I really don't, on a regular day, I don't classify myself as a transgender. I just classify myself as a woman or a regular person. Mm-hmm. So if I go into an establishment, they'll ask me, what do you like me to call you? I said, she, her,
got you.
all that. So those are pronouns. So like the male, you have different people that use different pronouns. So I'm not going to even put it on, but mostly males use his, him, his and him.
The regular, got you.
Female would use she and her. Mm-hmm. Some use they.
That's the part.
Them.
That's my issue.
So, and those are the people that don't classify themselves as him or her. You have
is that non-binary?
Non-binary.
Oh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I swear I didn't know that.
So so I used to work at a company called Away, the luggage company. We had a person there, they identified as they.
Yes.
So question. So now let's say, for example, if it's a woman, right? Mm-hmm. It said I'm a woman, but my pronouns is they. That still can happen?
Yes.
Yes.
And you have a woman that can also use their pronouns as he, him.
Mm-hmm. Like my trans,
and he's not a trans, and he's not a trans man.
That's the part that's confusing my life.
It's not that hard. Like,
it's all right,
if
baby.
you like, I'm not sure if it's because I'm in.
Yeah, because you're in it.
If I'm in it, but it's like nothing. Mm-hmm. Like you have people that identify themselves as anything right now.
And that's the part. That's the part why I found as the mockery to trans people when you start identifying yourself as just whatever, because now they're saying like I identify. What stopped me from saying I identify as a kung fu expert and I don't know nothing about kung fu, and you must call me Mr. Fuji or Mr. Miyagi. And I'm like, that's like more of a name. You must call me a sensei. And I'm like, I'm confused now. Like,
Sensei's in the fall?
Yeah, like, I'm like, so I'm like, yo, should we just call people? All right, here's my thing with the pronouns, right? Let's get into it. Pronouns. I don't mind calling a trans person he, she, or him, or
whatever they
his, whatever, right? The issue is when they try to force me to do something. That's my only issue. For example, if they say, like for you, I have no problem calling you she. I call you my sis.
Yes.
I have no problem with that. Cause I'm trying to get used to calling you that. Cause I used to call you my bro all the time before you transition.
Yes.
So I'm getting used to that. So now I'm kind of more used to that now, right? So my issue is when trans people is saying, I am a woman and you must call me that. And I'm like, you're a trans woman. You're not actually a woman. But for respect, I'm going to call you a woman because that's what you identify and I respect you. But to say that, no, I'm an actual woman and then a straight woman that's born a biological woman is cis. And I'm like, how can you switch the meaning of woman?
Some people,
But then you don't want, but you don't want nobody to call you trans woman, but to call you woman. But then you turn around and call that natural woman cis. That's my issue.
Well, for me, you have different people. They look at life different. For me, I just categorize it as it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't put nobody in a box, to be honest. Once you, like for me, as I start transitioning, I'm a woman. Especially when you went through most of the surgeries.
yes.
I'm a woman. I'm not going to look at her and say she's a cisgender woman. I'm just going to say she's a woman.
That I can
Because at
respect.
the ending of the day, if I say she's a cisgender woman, she have the right to come and say, okay, she's a trans woman.
That's my issue.
You understand? So I just say, okay, we're all women. I respect her. She respect me. He's a male. That's it.
There's a lot of closed-minded people, though.
Even with the pronouns, I
Yeah.
don't be doing it.
Like my circle of friends, I have a group of 12 friends, and 4 of them are trans women. And when we go out sometimes, we go to straight clubs or whatever, they respectfully tell men, like, I'm a trans woman. So I'm telling you beforehand. And then when men get drunk or whatever and they try to dance on,
They know better.
Then they get mad. Like, that's a nigga.
They've been through
They
it.
told you.
They told you.
identify
in
as a
advance.
she.
Out of
Yes.
respect.
Yeah. So why are you getting upset? But then again, that's a closed-minded person.
Yes.
They came in this establishment. They let it be known. Okay, we respect y'all. You respect us. Why are you still getting mad?
Why you getting mad?
I just can't stand it.
Because my whole thing with the whole the trans pronouns, another issue is because a lot of trans, like for example, I'm a designer, right?
Yes.
And I meet a bunch of people that say they're non-binary or they're trans women or trans men, and I call them what they want me to call them. But to force me to believe it is a totally different thing. And I'm saying right now, I can respect it, the 100%. But you can't tell me that that's what that is. You can't tell me that I must believe that you was born a woman when I clearly seen you born a man.
male.
You get what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, now you making it about an ego thing. And I'm like, that's when you lose people, because right now, if I say, yo, call me nigga, I identify as nigga, and you must call me nigga. They're gonna feel like what? They're gonna feel no, call me nigga. That's my pronoun. White trans people are gonna feel offended. Like, yo,
Yes.
I don't know, but I identify as nigga. And then they might.
Or you could just respectfully call that person their name.
Their name, yes.
But then some trans won't even do that. No, I identify. I mean, you're doing the ego thing. Just
Yeah,
if
a
your
lot
name.
of-
For me, listen, for me,
Come
it
on,
doesn't
respect.
matter if you don't have to call me she, nothing. Once you call me by my name.
Thank
Yeah,
you. In the
I
story,
And
right?
that's it. I step in the room. Hey, Kylie, how are you?
That's it.
That's it. I don't need to hear, hey, girl, how? No.
Another question I want to ask you, right? All right. Have you ever been discriminated against because of your transition?
No.
All right.
Not since no.
That's good.
Because you know what?
That's good.
When you transition, you have to know where you're accepted. My doctor's office, it's very respectable. I don't have a problem. Where I do my cosmetics, surgeries and all of that, respectable as well. Where I do my lasers, my hair, even my makeup, my fingernail, anything.
Yeah.
If they don't respect me as the person
don't need
I
your money,
am,
honey.
you don't need to get my money. So I've never been discriminated. Like on the streets, yeah, you know you're gonna get people gonna say shit when you're walking down the road. But otherwise from that, like in an establishment, no.
Not to cut you off, sometimes the problem is they wish they can be as confident as you, look as pretty as you do. Like if we was walking down the street and I see, I compliment people all day. You is beautiful.
Thank you.
Like you would never tell that you transition. You look like a natural woman, and that's the problem. People have lack of confidence. Oh my God! Oh, that's a man. You bad because she doing it better than you, boo.
And the thing is, with that, to back
That
up
do
what
be
you're
happening
saying,
sometimes.
I've been to places before where the men don't have an issue, or the men don't see that, okay, that's a trans girl, and it's always a female that points it out to the man and say, I've been in positions like that.
And I feel like those guys already knew.
The guys already know.
Yeah, but the females just try
And
to
they
make
just
it how
don't
they, you know,
care.
like you know I'm on you,
the
right?
jealousy.
And they're gonna front.
Like,
I've seen it in so many ways. Like,
So it's a fake sisterhood even in that.
Yeah. Like, I done been to bare places, and all my transgender friends get bare respect.
yep.
And I love stuff like that. Like, respect those who respect
Even
you.
Jamaican parties. I used to party, before I transitioned, I used to go to Jamaican parties like crazy. And out of respect, I stopped going to Jamaican parties. I recently start going back to Jamaican parties, and it's only selected Jamaican parties. You will not get me in a Jamaican party that keeps on Flatbush Avenue or Northstone Avenue. No.
We need queens
You're
and
not
better.
getting me there. I have to be in a area where,
you feel-
okay, the men are gonna wear their jacket suits, and I'm gonna wear a gown.
Or the ball, yeah, you bougie.
Those cute little events, because I'm not about to go running
Nothing
and
that nobody
ducking shots
heard.
and all of that stuff. And if you're keeping up, depending on the promoter, I will go, because a certain promoter draw a certain crowd.
True.
So certain parties I won't
They love
attend.
gunman.
So yeah, and when I go to those parties, I don't have any issue.
Yeah.
Never.
So another question I want to ask you, right? Trans again. Do you think it's fair for trans women to compete in women's sports? Think that's fair?
Depending on the sport.
Depending on the sport, to be honest.
What
Depending
sport?
on the sport.
Name a sport.
All right, so you have sports like basketball. You have females that play basketball. So if it's swimming, I don't see no problem with that.
Now, I see the problem with it all the way around, because the trans woman is born a boy
Okay,
naturally, right?
But then we're looking at it that, okay, they were born a boy, but you have to look at it. If that trans woman has been on hormones for a while, that person really don't have much energy
that man
as a man
feature don't exist
because
anymore.
you get more weak when you start taking the hormones.
I hear what you're saying. That's what the argument a lot of trans keep saying, this argument, but it's been proven scientifically that even the person's weaker, they're still stronger than the woman because their bone density, their heart don't strength is still the same
But
size.
you have a lot of females that really be
No, as a fact.
Strong as hell.
I'm agreeing with it.
especially in the sports.
But usually the women can compete with the men because of the muscle density, the heart, the XY chromosome, the thing that men have just naturally have than women have. So trans women that transition to trans women, they still have that advantage, although it's lower than normal for a man.
Okay, so do you think a transgender should compete with male, or they should just have a section for just transgenders?
I think you have to try with the transgenders.
That would be nice though.
It would be nice, but I don't think. Listen, if a person transition and they turn into a female or they turn into a male,
Because
I think it's only fair they could do the sport.
But
because then if you said, okay, they're supposed to have a category just for transgender, then you're taking them out of this box and put them in a box by themselves.
Because you know why? It's because you don't see trans men trying to get into the NBA or play men's sports because they think like
a lot of trans men do
yes.
play sports.
No. I didn't say play sports. I said try to get into the men's leagues. You don't really see this. The men
do.
No, they don't try. But you see the trans women try to get into the women's leagues way more, like even swimming. The trans women swimmer, she was like 490 something place in amongst the men, but she converted into the woman and came first place with ease because of her long ass shoulders.
First of all,
it was like this, whoosh, whoosh. Yeah, I won. I said, come on, that's not fair to the woman. So my thing is this: if you had my boy calling me too, I call him like. So my thing is this, right? When you have like basketball, like women basketball players is skilled. They're skilled, right? But they don't have the actual muscle, the toughness and the strongness as the men. They just don't have it. So if you transition into a woman,
Some do.
No, I'm saying, but majority don't
train
have
enough,
it.
Some do.
you gonna get it.
No, I'm telling you right now. Ask Serena Williams. Even her playing tennis, she even said, like, listen, I ain't gonna hold you. This feminist is boasting up these things by saying men could do what women could do. But I mean, women could do what men could do, but I just can't keep up with the men. It was the dudes, lower tier men that was destroying her on the tennis court, and she couldn't keep up because of the power they had naturally. And it was kind of like weak amongst the men, but just amongst the women, and just naturally stronger. So I'm just saying, if you transition into a woman, you're still gonna have the bone advantage. You're still gonna have the heart is still gonna be your lung capacity is still gonna be bigger, regardless of the fact. So look at dwindle, you would still have an advantage. That's why the Olympics, the trans woman won the weightlifting contest. For ease because
and with
they
these
were
sound effects,
because they was on hormone pills this whole time. But that part don't leave them. They get weaker.
But either like recently with the UFC.
So he said, and then we're gonna pick it back up again.
Okay, so
Right.
either with the UFC.
Some more questions for you.
The UFC recently, trans woman had won, and the opponent he was competing against was complaining, like, "Oh my God, that's still a man," but
It broke her eye socket. See,
a different story.
I like, yo, like it was straight up. You know that movie, Bloodsport, when Van Damme versus Bolo, and he's like, I said, "There's a Bloodsport attack." You can't get rid of that part. That's my only issue. I think that is a disadvantage for the woman. I just think that trans people should have their own sport or fight to the death. Now I'm playing.
but that's like
That's a question. UK, you can stop it and do it over again. 'Cause I got